Alright, so I'm just going to go over some freestyle basics here for you to let you see what kind of what freestyle is. I can get more in depth later, but for now we'll just show you the basics um, to get that line artifact. So let's get a background in. So I went to Google and got um, just got a picture of some paper. Yeah, here we go. Cool. Um, so if we go and look at materials, we just have this piece of notebook paper. So now, in this view, let's go ahead and add just a cube, just so we can actually, you know what, Suzanne will give us a little more detail. So let's scale her down so she's on the paper. Um, okay, so now we have Suzanne here. And this is going to work best in Eevee, just especially if you're going for that toony look. So let's subdivide her a few times, just so she's nice and smooth. That's good enough, I think. Okay. Um, so let's get our camera all lined up so we can kind of see what's going on. So now if I hit render here, we get just monkey, right? Um, so there's a setting in your render tab. So over here on the right, if you go into the render tab and scroll down to the bottom, you have this option freestyle. So go ahead and turn that on. Don't mess with any of these settings. When we start changing the line stuff, we'll actually go create a line set in a different tab for it. But for now, let's just turn on freestyle and see what happens. So if we render out, so now we get this outline around our object. And around edges. Now, what's nice too, say you wanted this edge as well to show, but it's being occluded right now. So you can go into edit mode. Whoops. And let's just select this edge from here to here. So if you select any element and then hold control and select another one, it will select the shortest point between those. So now let's you can do this from the edge menu up here, but when you're in the edge selection, you can either right click, or if you're in a different mode, you can hit Control E to bring up the edge menu. So now we're going to go down and mark this as a freestyle edge. So now that that's been marked, if we go render, what happens? Hey, nothing happened. What's going on there? So you have to go tell it. So this is where I talked about where you have line sets. So over here, let's go back into object. So over here on the right, if you go to this, this is like the scene, the view layer properties, and then scroll down, you'll see you have a freestyle line set. So you can add multiple line sets if you want different effects on your different lines, different colors, that sort of thing. For now, we're just going to work with this one. And you have to go down here and turn on edge mark. So it picks up on those edge marks. So if we turn on edge mark and then run it, so now we have that edge as well. I should have done one lower, but you get the idea. Um, let's go fix that real quick. So we're going to clear that edge, and now we're going to grab this one and mark that as freestyle. So now we should get that line along the bottom edge. Awesome. So now let's say you wanted to make that line look a little sketchier. How would you do that? So in your line set over here in your view layer tab, scroll down and you have a few options. First, we'll start with thickness. You can strokes is another one where you'll deal with things, so you can make things sketchier and change how it ends your lines. We're not going to do that at the moment. Like I said, we're just kind of going into some basics here. So if you go down into freestyle thickness, turn this base thickness down, I don't know, to like 1 point. Just play with values. 3 is too thick when you add the noise to it. So now we're going to add a modifier, and we're going to add some noise. And then this amplitude of 10 is way too high. So let's turn this down to 1. So now let's see what happens. So now you get these nice sketchy lines around the outside of your object, or on any things that you marked, which is cool. Now, how would you, when I showed you the thing on Facebook, how would you get this clear? Let's say you wanted to make it look like that was drawn on the paper. So it's really, really easy. So you just go into your material of your object, create a new material, and we'll just call this something like uh, transparent. All right, and then scroll down to your viewport display options. What? Oh, no, here, under settings. I'm sorry. I was in a different tab. And change your blend mode to alpha hashed or alpha clip or alpha blend. It doesn't matter. And then do the same thing for shadows, though it doesn't matter. We're not going to be showing any shadows. And then come up here in your material and turn your alpha down to 0. So now you see that object is invisible, but it's still going to catch the freestyle lines. So now you can do drawing there, and that's pretty neat. I will do another video later to show you how to do like a Toon Shader colors to make it look kind of cartoony. Actually, you know what? We can just do it right now. Why not? Why not? So let's go into a shader tab. I guess I normally work on a second window, but we'll do it right here. Okay. So now we have this shader here. So we don't. This only works in Eevee, by the way. The trick I'm about to do. So first, let's turn our alpha back up so we can see what's going on here. Let's get rid of this principled shader because we don't need it. We're just going to use a diffuse shader. And then we're going to take this and we're going to run this into a node. I don't know where it hides in here, but you can search for it. And just search for shader to RGB. And this node is only available in Eevee. That's why I said this only works in Eevee. So now, let's get a color ramp, which is under converter, and color ramp. And then we'll plug this in. So now we just have a white color on our surface, but we're going to change it up. We don't care about this color at all. We just wanted the shader info. So we're going to add a couple of points in our color ramp. To do that, you control and left click. We'll start with just 4 colors to show, and then I'll show you how you can change it up. So make sure that first, just to get a good baseline, space these out evenly. So we got 0.25, 0.5, 0.75. Okay, so now let's pick some colors. So this bottom color, let's start with like like I said, we're just kind of showing off the effect here. So let's go with like a dark blue here on this bottom color. And change your ramp to constant to really see what's going on here. All right, so now if we change this gray to a little bit lighter blue, and then this gray to a little bit lighter blue. This guy's already white. We'll make it a little bit whiter. And now you can play with your ramp to get different highlight values, which is pretty nice. And you can play with how it blends. I find that cardinal I think looks pretty good too for the freestyle effect. But constant is going to give you your just really solid toon look to it, which is pretty neat. So yeah, and if you want to go add more points to get more highlights, more colors, by all means. to get a little bit more of a gradient effect. And then once again, you can play with the different shading modes, or the different interpolation modes to get different effects. But it's pretty neat, a neat way to do cartoony stuff, and you can add layers upon layers here and set up colors and do whole scenes that all look kind of hand drawn and cartoony. It's really neat. So yeah, those are your basics there. If you have any questions, let me know.